So you did leave your father's firm. Was it the partners that you got sick of, or did you
Well,
just go out on your own to prove yourself?
yes, I did get sick of all of them. Um, what happened was after a couple of years, I saw that one of the younger partners was taking money, and
Ah,
I knew it. The older partners didn't believe me. He had been there a long time, and I was like this new guy, and they just didn't believe me that, and I knew it, and um, I couldn't stay there and watch it. So I convinced my dad, who started getting in sort of bad health, um, to come with me, and I was going to start my own law firm. And there were two guys, one who used to work for my dad, who approached me and said, "Listen, we're starting a law firm. Why don't you be the third here?" And met. Uh, we met for 7 months at a little bar in Tribeca, planning our new law firm and planning our escape route. And I took a loan and had no cases, and we ventured out and had my father tag along. And um, but with this guy who was taking this money, I sued the dude, um, and I went through an entire arbitration against him. Um, I was the attorney. I represented my father on it. I covered the cost of it, which was back then was like a huge amount of money for me, and went on for about a year and a half, and I won. After 34 years, 9 months after I left the firm, my father's firm dissolved. And
wow.
this guy who took the money, I got a judgment against him. He was taking from my father, and he pled poverty, but he had one case. He had one case that my father had started in the 80s. It was the oldest case in Bronx County of New York. It had gone through 3 different mayors, and it was a landfill case against the city of New York, where we represented, it was about 35 kids who lived within the landfill area, and they had gotten leukemia from the landfill permeating into the water in the area. And this guy who took the money, he took that case.
Uh-huh.
And I had this judgment against him for my father's money that he was owed. And I just sat and waited. And little did I know I was going to wait 14 years. So my father passes away. I start this new, I start this new firm. I then end up going out on my own without these other two guys. Uh, Things are great. And fast forward 14 years, my wife calls me on my way to work, and she's like, "Hey, I just heard on New York One that the city of New York settles a landfill case for $32 million, $34 million. I'm like, "Honey, let me call you back." And I had been sitting there waiting with this judgment to get against this guy. And after 14 years, we eventually got paid. And I showed up and I said, "Knock, knock. Remember me? Remember this judgment?" And by then, my father had passed away. My uncle had passed away. So I took that money that we got, and I divvied it up to all my dad's kids, the grandkids, my uncle's kids, and just split it up to all of them. And eventually justice was done. Delayed but done. Just sort of a wild thing where, I never forgot about it. I never let it go. waited, I waited, I waited, I waited. And then, you know, it was, and that was the real, closure, so to speak, on, passing of my dad, and ability to like sort of put that chapter of my life behind me and move on. I knew I was right, and turned out, and it was the same guy who, first Christmas party when I was at my father's firm back in 03, 04, whatever it was, he punched me in the face at the Christmas party in front of like all the judges in New York. He drank too much and he didn't want me to be around, and you know, I just knew it. So that's really what got me to start my own law firm, because I knew that I just didn't trust anyone else who was going to be paying me a paycheck. And I'm fortunate because I had a partner for 14 years. And when COVID hit, we sort of, we went our separate ways, and I started my law firm was called Blitz for over a decade and almost decade and a half. Now it's called Blitz Law Group. That guy who was my partner, he now works of counsel for Blitz Law Group. We have a very good relationship, and I'm very fortunate that that happened and that I was able to work that out, because oftentimes when you have partnerships that dissolve, it can go the other way so easily, sort of like a marriage.